Hey everybody, welcome back to the Banking Bros podcast. My name's Jonah.
And I'm Jay Du, and today we're going to talk about something that might mess with everything you've been told about money.
Yeah, I think for years, the big dream has been, right, go to school, get a good job, work really hard for a long portion of your life, and then while you're doing that, of course, put your money into these retirement accounts, into these plans, into these programs, and then finally, when you're old, 60, 65, have a good life.
The problem is that plan isn't designed to make you free. It's designed to keep you tied to the system of following the rules that aren't actually in your favor.
Yeah, so today we're just going to rip that model apart, right? We're going to jump in and show you how to create a life of liquidity, create a life of control, create a life of legacy, and we're going to start now, not decades from now.
Okay, so this episode, Jonah, is a deep dive into why traditional retirement advice is broken. Most of us know that. The risk it hides and how you can take control of your money so you can actually live free before the government's approved retirement age.
Now, here's the thing. We did a podcast episode recently with is she a doctor? Dr. Kim Butler? Am I saying doctor right?
Yeah, I give her that designation. She can earn an honorary doctorate from us.
Okay. So we did a podcast recently with Kim Butler, and she challenged us to not say traditional retirement advice, but instead say typical retirement advice, because traditional retirement advice should go back prior than 1978. Right? 1978 is a really important year in the retirement spectrum of the world today, because that's actually when the 401k came into existence and started being used by the average American.
Interestingly enough, that's around the exact same time that universal life insurance came around.
Yep. It sure was. And then some other dates, just in case you're listening to us, so maybe you're interested in this. About 1997 was when the beloved Roth IRA came into play. And so for us to say traditional is probably actually not the correct definition of using that word appropriately. Miss Kim Butler challenged us to think through that and to actually start using the word typical retirement planning as opposed to traditional retirement planning. What do you think about that, Jeremiah?
I think that it's a very interesting thing to think about, because prior to those times, the idea of retirement was different for many people. A lot of things around the pension, big business came into play in the 20th century. So before that, there were a lot of different things going on. I mean, including that the water was not good, so people would die off at 48.
Yep.
I mean, that's obviously, that wasn't good. But I agree with you. I would also like to say that the indexed universal life insurance policy also came out in 1997.
Yep.
And until you said those terms with those typical retirement plans and those government programs, I did not realize that in the insurance space, stuff came out at the same time, on those same, the same time, 78, 97. Maybe it's because there were actually bills that came out of it. Maybe there were medium beautiful bills at that time that came out. I don't know. We're going to have to do some more.
Industries were trying to combat what was happening. And absolutely. We've heard that a few times from some of the industry folk.
But when this happens, this happens. When you pull a lever here, there's something that moves somewhere else. Very interesting. So let's jump into it. We've got a couple lies for you out there. Jonah, I'm going to read you off these lies, and you tell us why it's wrong and the reality.
Yep.
Lie number 1, if you just save enough, you'll be set for life. Okay, why is that wrong?
That's a good one. So here's why. If you actually do the math, which we can do on this episode, we might as well do a little bit of it. If you actually do the math, you'll realize that it's almost impossible to save your way to a retirement. It's really, really, really tough. So we've done this math a few times previously. We'll do it for you guys on this episode here. You can follow along at home, whether you're listening in the car. You can probably do the math mentally. You might have to round a few numbers, or you're watching us live on the YouTube channel, The Banking Bros, for this podcast episode. What's up? We see you out there. You can do the math with us. You can pause the video even and do some of the math. So the general math that we do, you want to lead it?
Sure, yeah.
Math? Okay.
Yeah, so I'll lead it, and then Jonah will tell you why it's wrong and the reality of it. So the general idea here is if you retire at a certain time, Jonah, give us that time frame. What year? What age?
I'd like to retire when I am 60 years old.
Okay, 60 years old. The average person, approximately, who's married, even if they're married at 60, how long was life expectancy?
What is married at 60? What do you say?
Yeah, if you're married at 60, apparently single people die sooner. So how many years are you going to live? If you're a man,
married. Oh, okay.
You're a man.
Yeah.
You're married at 60, you stop working.
Yeah.
So
think
there's a
life
couple things like
expectancy
that.
is like 85 or...
That's high, but we'll go for it if you want.
I think it's 85, 25 years.
It's high.
That's
high. I mean, the average life expectancy, let's look it up here.
All right.
What's the average life expectancy in America?
I didn't feel like it was high,
for
but you're
men?
making me nervous now.
78.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
I knew it was high.
Okay, so
split the difference?
80? Yeah, let's just do 80.
20 years.
20
okay,
years.
so the question is, how much money do you need over the course of 20 years?
Yep.
Well, let's define retirement. Does that mean you are not actively getting income anywhere else?
The way that the American dream is kind of set up is work really hard for a while and then stop having active
That's
income.
the dream, and most of us know that that dream is not coming true. That's why we have conversations like this. So 20 years of no active income.
I think we should, do it for the people who are listening and watching to say, yeah, I'm going to retire at 60 and stop working. So I need 20 years of income, but not active income. I'm not going to work for it.
Okay, so your family today in 2025, Jonah, you have a family of 5.
I do.
3 kids.
Yep.
How much money does it require of you to live in this world?
Yeah, so I actually know that. Right now, though, with the way that my family's set up, it costs me about $5,800 a month in order to live.
So that's going to be about $65,000 a year?
Well, I've got my calculator up for all those who are watching us. So I'm gonna swap that, and I'm gonna just do the math right here. So 5,800, and I need to multiply that, right? I need to multiply that by the 20 years that I need in retirement.
If that's the annual number. Is that the monthly number?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's the monthly number. So I need to 5,800 times 12.
Okay.
That's the annual number.
There you go.
And then
69,600.
Yeah. And then now I need to multiply that by 20 years.
Okay.
Right.
So that comes out to $1.39 million. $1,392,000.
Right.
Okay. So the question is, how do you get that type of nest egg ready?
Yeah, well, again, our retirement line number 1 is that you're going to be able to save your way to that, right?
So how's everybody doing?
So then I've got to take the age that I am right now, which is 33.
Yep.
I need to say how many years until I'm 60 I want to retire. So I'm just taking 60 is when I want to retire, and I'm going to say minus my current age, 33, so that's 27 years. So I have 27 years to save 1.39. So I'll put the calculator back on the screen here. And then I'll say if I've got, so again, 69,600 is my annual number. We multiply that by 20. That's how long I want to be retired. I got 1.39 million. And now I need to divide by 27 because that's how many years I have to get the number, which means I need to be saving $51,555 and some change, right? Every single year.
Okay, that's how you save your way to it.
That's how you save your
way. Now,
let's
obviously let people know most people are not trying to actually just save their way to it. They combine that with an investing strategy and a qualified plan, which is not saving.
Right.
Obviously, most people realize that, but they might say those words conflated.
Yep.
They might say, well, I save in a retirement plan that I hope somebody else moves around in the market and gets me more money. But the question is, how you doing this year? Are you saving 51,000?
Saving 51. No, I'm not doing very hot. Well, actually, because we use infinite banking policies whole life to save our dollars, I do have premiums that are higher than 51, so I'm actually doing fine as far as savings go. But the average American, no chance they're going to be able to save their way to retirement. And the reason that this is a lie, this is 2 factors that make this a lie. You're not going to be able to make it. The first is cost of living.
Yep.
And the second is inflation.
Yep.
Because of those 2 factors, you're not going to be able to outsave You're not going to be able to outsave them, which means you can't. You can't save your way to actually a retirement. You can't save your way to be set for life. Again, and don't get hurt, lose work, have a transition of job, have someone that gets sick and needs more money. Don't want to take a vacation. We're only at $5,800 a month. right? Don't need to take a vacation. You have no money for that. Does that make sense? Saving your way to your retirement is just not something that you're going to be able to accomplish. That's why I played that sound earlier.
There you go.
It's just not something that you're going to be able to do.
Okay, lie number 2, your retirement accounts are your money. So that's...
I'm going to play the sound again.
So explain why that's wrong and help people out there who are actively doing it. You got to realize, and I don't think we did on this podcast for some time in the past years, we've got to nod to the people out there who are listening to us, most of which have qualified plans and retirement accounts.
Sure.
So what is the challenge? Where's the kickback on that lie? Why do we call it a lie?
Yeah, well, so there's a few things that are really going on. We're not upset at anyone that's got qualified plans already. We understand typical retirement planning says go get a qualified plan, right? We understand that. So most people out there, working class America is made up of blue collar workers for the most part, right?
And white collar
and blue collar workers, right. Which means America's made up of retirement accounts because that's the typical way to do it. So, but here's the thing. When you put the money in the retirement account, saying, "Oh yeah, it's my money," is like a oxymoron, because the qualities, what word do I want? The attributes of the qualified plans of the government sponsored accounts are literally the opposite of what you'd call your money. Literally the opposite. Like if you put a definition to money that's yours, like if I've got $5 in my pocket and I'm saying, that's mine. Why is it mine? Well, because I control it, because it's in an account, my pocket, that I can get to whenever I want.
Yep.
Because it's liquid, because I can choose to use it today for lunch, or I can choose to use it, after work to buy something for the kids or whatever, right? That's why it's mine. Mm-hmm. As soon as you put the money in the retirement account, do any of those attributes that I just talked about apply to the retirement account? Can you go get it? Is it yours? Can you use it for anything that you'd like? Can you take it? Does that make sense?
Right.
And that's the problem. That's the problem. The rules, the regulations, the lack of control, the strict grasp the government actually has on the money now as soon as you give it to them.
Why it's qualified is it's qualified not to be taxed today.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you took it as income, you're going to pay income tax on those dollars. And the qualifications are, if you wrap it up in one of our special numbers, 457, 403B, right? Yep. 401K. Those types of things are just qualifying you not to pay taxes on it now.
That's right.
So according to Google, I'm looking it up on Gemini, as of March 31, 2025, the total value of U.S. retirement assets, $43 trillion.
$43 trillion. What's the outstanding debt currently?
I don't know. 35. I don't know.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. Let's pull up the
U.S. debt clock.
And you know what I'm going to do here, Jeremiah? I'm going to pull it up so the people that are watching can also see it with us.
Very interesting.
So this is our U.S. national debt clock. If you have not seen this before, you are in for a surprise. If you haven't seen this before, it's actually even too big to show all on the screen. Too many clocks that are ticking. But the most important one is going to be right up here in the top left corner. I'm using my mouse to highlight it. If you're watching us on YouTube, if you're just listening, we'll say the number. But it's currently, is that 37 trillion?
$37.488 trillion.
$37.488 trillion. How much was in retirement plans again?
43 trillion.
43 trillion. I heard a podcast recently where someone said that you do realize the government has control, makes the rules on 43 trillion while they're 37 trillion in debt. And this podcast made you think for a little bit. This lady said, where do you think they're going to change the rules to get the money if things really hit the fan and they have to pay it
China
out?
And Russia?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They have to change the rules on government on money that they made the rules for. That's where they'll change the rules so they can get access to a significant portion, enough sum to get out of the debt, right?
There you have it.
So that's really, really interesting. And anyway, it just made you think a little bit once I saw that number and realized that. So, yeah, that lie number 2 is something that is really unique, but it's something that is worth talking about because a lot of people just do not realize once you put it in the qualified plan, the government-sponsored plan, the retirement account, you've lost control. It really belongs now to the person who made the rules. There's that golden rule. You've heard that before, right? He who has the gold makes the rules.
There it is.
And so as soon as you give it to them, they have the gold. They're making the rules.
Right? All right. Lie number 3, Jonah, retirement equals freedom.
Yeah, this one, I'm going to play the sound for this one too. This one's really unique because the modern or typical plan for retirement is not something that we probably subscribe to currently, right? The modern or typical plan is to get a big nest egg, right? We're going to put money in the plans. We're going to hope to hit 2 million, 1 million, 1.5, 2 million. A lot of people don't. The average, you should look up for just a quick second.
Ready.
What's the average American have in their 401k? Like how much, does that make sense? Broken down per person. Like what do they actually have? I need to make it to 1.3 million in order to retire appropriately. But if you look up what the average person has in their 401k, it's not close.
Okay, so I asked it pretty generically. The average American savings for retirement would vary by age, but according to the Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances, shows that in 22, the median household retirement savings was $87,000.
Yep.
However, averages can be misleading. Remember, for example, the median savings for those aged 65 to 74 was $200,000. Now, what was the number you needed?
1.3.
1.3 if it was just sitting there ready to roll. And of course, inflation would still eat away at the buying power.
Yep.
Right? You're not going to be 60 years old for 37
You
years.
still can't take a vacation on $60,000 a year.
Right, there you go. While it was much lower for younger age groups, the median for those under 35 was $18,000. Okay, so those are some generic numbers, obviously, but retirement doesn't equal free. Retirement is a beautiful thing. Here's that quote yesterday from a new presentation we're putting together called Guaranteed Lifetime Income, ladies and gentlemen. But it was retirement is a beautiful thing if you have enough to live on and enough to live for.
Yep.
Now, we didn't know who it came from, unknown. That's why Jonah was like, I don't know if we should put that in our presentation because we don't know where the quote came from. But I thought it was a good thing to bring up here. Okay, so Jonah, I have a couple of fun facts. I went and I asked the internet once again to give us some fun, but not so fun, retirement facts to help us think about this situation.
All right.
According to the ChatGPT, the average retirement age is 62, but we might live to 84.
Okay.
That's 22 years of income you got to figure out how to do without a paycheck. And Social Security typically replaces about what percentage of income of a
Social
recipient
Security
on average?
Oh, man. Social Security probably replaces 12.
I thought it was quite a bit high, and this says 40%.
Really?
40%. But I guess these people are eating dog food because
Social Security?
Because the retirement I want to have.
Social Security ain't going to cut it.
Yes. Okay, here we go. How many healthy years do you get in retirement before everything starts to shut down physically and cognitively? What do you think this says?
If you're supposed to retire at 62,
that means how many years are you going to live without disability? When does disability kick in?
8.
10 to 12.
10 to 12.
Yep.
I wasn't too bad.
10 to 12. Okay. All right, here we go. Cognitive decline. Okay, cognitive decline. According to the Institute of Economic Affairs, Jonah, retirees experience a what percent faster decline in cognitive function if they don't have a new sense of purpose after leaving work?
Oh, fast. What percent?
What percent of cognitive decline if they don't get a new sense of purpose and they just sit home watching the soaps?
I bet you it's high. I bet you it's over 50, but I'm going to guess 45.
40%.
40%.
40%. Okay. All right. Now, the number one retirement regret from people is, quote, I retired too soon.
Yeah, too early.
I retired too soon.
Yep.
All right. Yep. People say actually that they lost their identity. They've wrapped their identity in all this work that they've done, their community, their social group, and they're bored. They're actually bored. And of course, we think that you should get out, go to the gym, and volunteer somewhere, right? get a new job, but not because you need the money.
Yep.
Right? Find purpose. Okay, here it is. Healthcare, the surprise budget bomb. The average couple retiring today needs how much money in healthcare costs in retirement over the course of their retirement years? Remember, they don't hit disability, maybe average for about 10 to 12 years.
Yep.
How much money do they just need to cover the healthcare costs?
I bet you it's huge. I bet you it's 400,000.
315.
Yeah.
315,000. Okay,
that's taking a lot of my 1.3.
There it is, right?
I'm not going to make it, right?
Medicare does not cover dental, vision, hearing aids, or long-term care. Be aware. Travel gets more expensive and less fun, okay? So remember that if you want a wheelchair-accessible cabin on the cruise ship, it might
cost you more.
Yep. Maybe. It also, how many of the cabins are wheelchair accessible?
Yep.
Not as many.
Yep.
So how long do you have to wait? They said sometimes it's a 2-year wait to make sure there's a room.
To just get on one.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. How many hours does a retiree on average spend seeing the doctor per month?
Hours per month. 8. How am I doing?
Survey says 17.
Woo! That's a lot of hours in the doctor's office.
17.
Now, granted, every time I do go in the doctor's office, the folks there are normally a little bit older.
They're chilling. Yeah. They know they're going to be there
a while. They're there all day, and I'm trying to get in and get out. And
No, they got Sudoku ready. They know.
They're sitting in the corner just playing.
By the time we get that old, though, I assume our eyes are still going to be good, or they'll make the phones and tablets bigger. But maybe a paper crossword puzzle.
Yep.
Is in my future. I don't know. Right now, I play it off New York Times and the Wordle, right?
I'm not sure. Speaking of that, this is a sidebar. Speaking of that, I'm not sure the IRAs are going to be good. Too many screens. We haven't had enough generations with all of these screens yet.
Yeah, that's true.
Figure out if people are going to be able to see when they're older.
I'm no doctor, but I tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, get outside and walk and exercise, whatever types of exercise you do, and look at things far away.
Use your
look at things far away.
Get some blue light glasses.
There you go.
That's free. But anyway.
Okay, now here's one that's really sad here as we close this out. The risk of elder financial abuse is high. Retirees have lost in the last couple of years about how much money, they say, according to scams and shady salesmen.
Like all of them together? I'm not going to know this number. I don't know.
It's in the billions.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
I was going to say millions. So I guess 1.5.
$36 billion.
Whoa. Just scamming old people?
Yeah.
That's terrible.
We were just talking about the lady who apparently sent money to the fake astronaut who said he needed money for oxygen so he could get home. Well, that's it, Jonah. The problem with traditional retirement advice is it's delayed gratification gone too far. Most people save up money and they don't know and they don't feel good about spending the money. They are in scarcity mode. There's a market dependence. Remember, most people are putting their dollars in qualified plans, and the market dependence means that they are nervous about the returns or lack thereof, or drawing money out and the market going down. Yep. And there's tax uncertainty because remember, a lot of your deductions have gone away and you have no idea if the tax brackets are going
up,
high,
down,
left, or right in the future. And there's a lack of liquidity depending on where you put your money. So what you want is liquidity, control, and a legacy plan for your family. So when you get old and you need that health care, that long-term care, or one day when you transition or your spouse does and everybody comes to see you at the family reunion, aka funeral, that comes with checks.
Yep.
We talk about that from time to time. So, ladies and gentlemen, we want to make sure that you do not fall for the retirement lies and you are prepped and prepared to make sure your retirement years are your desirement years.
There we go. Before the episode ends, let's give a quick shout out to our fan follow. And our fan follow this week is Bernie Espinosa. He followed us over or subscribed to us over on YouTube. That's username Bernie1201. We appreciate you, man. And what we're going to do is give him a shout out in the episode, obviously, like we're doing. But we want to ask, Bernie, you got any questions, thoughts, concerns, any videos that you've watched recently that you need a little bit more explanation on? Is there something you're going through financially right now that you'd like our opinion on? What do you think about the retirement lies out there? And what are you doing now, today, to change that trajectory for you and your family and your future? So, Bernie, we appreciate you, man. Thanks for being here. Hopefully we'll have some dialogue, and I'll be chatting with you on the phone pretty soon.
That's all for today's episode of the Banking Bros podcast. I know for some of you, this might flip your entire view of retirement right on its head.
Yeah, and that's kind of the point, right? We want you to question the typical playbook, because the sooner you question it, you see the flaws in it, you decide to do something better, the faster you can build something better for yourself.
If you're ready to explore how to create liquidity, take back control, and build a real legacy, check out bankingbros.com, where we've got resources to help you get started today.
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, The Banking Bros. We're on YouTube if you're watching there. We're on your favorite podcast listening app. We're on Instagram, TikTok, all those fun places. Share this episode with someone that you care about if this was helpful to you, because really I think believing the retirement lie is costing people their actual freedom, their working years every single day. So we'll see you next time. Until then, keep taking control of your money. Don't wait for someday to start living. Peace.
You are now tuned to the Banking Bros. Said we couldn't make it, 3 setup, this the life we chose. Gave a lot of game, we never got a lot of things. Bow your head and say the prayer, we taught you how to be the bank.
All right, everybody, that's a wrap on today's retirement reality check. And if any of the fun facts that you heard in our episode hit a little too close to home, it's time to flip the script and script out your future with the Cash Compound. We're going to teach you how to save and spend money at the exact same time, and we'd love you to check in on the ideal asset for your retirement savings so you can have guaranteed lifetime incomes. We've got some downloadables for you and a free cash consultation call, so make sure you find us at thebankingbros.com and join the conversation today.